Hey everybody, it's John, aka Whiskey and Sound, with another episode of Boilermaker Mondays. So I'm gonna kick it off with a theme which I've had constantly going on at the moment, which is either barrel aged beers and the whiskey is extracted from that, or vice versa, and basically comparing notes and seeing what brewers are doing with collaborations, with certain distilleries. Um, Now, this particular pairing is one that I've just thought that I'd concoct together because I saw the distillery logo on the beer can when I went to go pick it up. So, and curiosity always gets the better of me. So, I'm very curious as I have some of the whiskeys laying around here, and I've been looking for a reason to include them into a Boilermaker. So, this one in particular is from Beerfarm, which is Eastern Tsar, and it's a barrel aged Imperial Stout, and it is brewed in collaboration with Corowa Distillery in New South Wales. So now I don't know what exact whiskey barrels they've actually used as far as what release it was, but what I do know about them is what states on the can is that this was barrel aged in a Corowa 100 litre whiskey barrel. So I'm assuming it's just one of their ex bourbons that they've finished off with. Whether they've gone to season it in something else, I don't know. I will hopefully find that out on here. It is going to come in at, what's the ABV on this thing? It is not on here. How deceptive are you? Wow, it's actually not listed on here. That's hilarious. No, it is. It is. On the back of this thing, it comes in at 9.6%. Yeah, fun. Okay, cool. Should make for a real nice Imperial Stout then. Something with a nice bit of a sweet bite, nevertheless. So, lovely and black, to say the least. Alright, I will let this thing calm down and hopefully not spill everywhere over my desk, which it looks like it's not. So, what I want to try pair this back with is, knowing that it's got Corowa in there, 100 litre. I'm assuming that they're just their ex-bourbon barrels that they've used to mature either their standard whiskies in. It doesn't say specifically whether it's had a Pera or port or Pinot or whatever. So what I do have though, which looking at the breakdown of what they've used in the beer, they've used particular hops. It's an American hops called Sabro. Now that's done a little bit of a read up on it, and it's known to be to give off notes of tangerine, coconut, and lots of tropical fruits, lots of stone fruits, and also coming in with on the other end of the spectrum with cedar, mint, and what else? I think it was cream. Yeah, that's right. So cedar, mint, and cream. And I thought, well, okay, cool. What better way to approach that than to pair it back with a single barrel, which I happen to have from Corowa Distillery. And it is cask number 31, which is their bourbon maple syrup limited release. So it was 130 bottles they got out of this at at an absolutely stonking 67.9 ABV. So it's not a lightweight in the slightest. So I must treat it quite respectfully. And but I figured, you know what, between the sweetness of the bourbon, maple syrup, and what I should be expecting out of this particular Imperial Stout, should make for a real nice, sweet, complementing, almost breakfasty kind of stout-based Boilermaker, which is what I'm thinking anyway. So now, because it is a limited run of this particular bottle, I tend to collect these bad boys. I do a lot of Aussie. For those that are just tuning in for the first time, I do collect my Aussie whiskey bottlings. Like mainly it's the first releases I go for. Got a handful of Aussie distilleries that I do collect, namely Hobart Whisky, Highwayman, and upcoming King Lake is definitely on the cards with their first release coming out in November, I think, or December, possibly one of the two. But either way, this bottling was particularly special because it was a event which was going to come up and which was organised for us in August, I believe, which was one night in Corowa, which the boys from Whisky Travellers had organised. Yeah, Paul and Serge, they went through all avenues to make this not happen, and COVID said no. But they did say, well, look, we know that you guys have been hanging for this event. So the distillers thought, you know what, let's give you guys the bottles that we were going to share with you guys on the night with the meals and everything else. So that's a spirit that I'm going to be pairing back with this one tonight, and that's a bottle that I'm definitely keeping. If I get my hands on another bottle, then I am no doubt going to get one to crack open, enjoy, share with friends. So without any further ado, I'm going to get stuck into this sample that's been provided for me. So let's see how she goes. Actually, who am I kidding? Of course I'm going to pull the full thing in. I was initially going to give myself a 15ml pour, but it's Monday night. Why not? That is rich on the maple syrup on the nose. It is definitely rich on maple syrup. Quite coconutty, velvety. Yeah, that's. I might want to let this thing air a little bit. So in the meantime, I am going to indulge in a bit of barrel-aged Imperial Stout. I'll get my napkin ready because I know, or my tissue ready because I know my Mo's going to want to have a piece of this as well. So, all right, let's see this one goes. Yeah, right. Okay, this is yeah, it's got very rich notes already on the nose. You get that whiskey hit, like that whiskey influence. So very oaky. It's actually quite smoky, funnily enough. It's smoky on the nose, but it is still chocolatey and coffee nose, which is what you would expect from an Imperial Stout. Yeah, okay. This is interesting. I think I can hear my wife slightly dying there in the other room doing her boot camp. And free plug, free shout out to her, Sarah Yankowski Fitness. Follow her on Instagram. She's killing it with her boot camps and her fitness kick. Unlike her husband here, who is hitting hard in the alcohol. No. But anyway. So if you can hear music in the background, you can hear foot stomping. That's my wife going like a bat out of hell in that room there, whilst I'm enjoying my Boilermakers on Monday night because that's what we do. Okay. Now let's get back into that one again. That did taste really nice actually. So I'm going to recoat the palate, do my beer wash, and then hopefully I've given that enough time for it to air out a bit, and then if need be I will add water, being that it's 67.9%. So it's, yeah, I'm expecting a big kick from that one. All right. It's actually really layered. It's actually really nice stout. It's not bitter. It's not it's not it's not massive hop driven. It's probably why I'm such a fan of stouts, because you don't get that mass amount of hop influence like that. That real bitterness that you'd expect, like that you get from either like your pale ales or anything. So or your lagers, but I Really, really like that. It is so chocolatey and um, coconutty and fruity, very fruity. Um, and it's like it's like a it's got like a mochaccino um, kind of flavor to it. So yeah, very much so mochaccino flavor. It's actually a really nice stout, and it doesn't drink like it's a 9.6%. Uh, you know, ABV Imperial as well. So yeah, keep that one in mind as well if you get your hands on one of these. All right, now that my palate's fresh on that one, yeah, that's really fruity on the way down. It's so sweet. Um, that's a very, it is no, that is a very summery imperial stout. Um, yeah, that'd be a bit too easy to drink in the winter, that's for sure. But yeah, you can get away with knocking those down in the summer, no doubt. Oh yeah. So now the bourbon's open right up. It's actually heaps of chocolate now that's coming through on the nose. Beautiful. This should complement very well. Yeah, that maple syrup gives it that pancake feel. Lovely, lovely nose. All right. Without any further ado, bourbon maple syrup, courtesy of Corowa. Whoa, it's got a big hit on the back of the pellet. Big hit. Big pellet. It's yeah. Oh, that is loads of maple syrup. Loads of it. Vanilla, coconutty, but just maple syrup is just explodes on the back of the pellet. Yeah, that just got a massive finish on it. That's still going. That's probably over. You know what? Now that that's sitting on the pellet, I probably want to go back and rinse it back with this, and I reckon it'll probably do better going that way because the whiskey rinse on this has just absolutely killed this stout. Just absolutely left it for dead. Like the finish is still there on the palate, just lingering. That's and just strong maple syrup today is just yeah Canadian maple syrup. Oh wow, there we go. That's um that's brought some flavors to life now. Yeah, that's brought some real nice flavors to life. Yeah, that's probably the way that I would approach this. Like at such a high ABV from the whiskey, definitely go whiskey first. Whiskey wash and just let it sit on your palate for a bit. Give it say 30, like actually give it a minute or two, and just let that lingering effect of the maple syrup influence from the barrel um, just do its thing on your palate, and then rinse it off with that particular barrel aged imperial stout. That is very velvety on the finish after you put the beer rinse through. That's for sure. Oh yeah, that is fun. That is fun. I'm so glad I put those two together. They rock together. They really do. Yeah, don't mind the stout in the mo. Like I said, it gets jealous. It does want to partake. I don't blame it. It is a beautiful pairing, and yeah, all are invited to the party. If the beard wants some, you can have some too. But oh, that's lovely. The the um the different notes that I've noticed that like between like all I got on the beer wash and whiskey rinse was um just that strong um barrel influence, like that wood, that oak influence, the maple syrup, um, is what I got on the finish, and it just completely overpowered anything. Mainly because the ABV is just way too strong for that particular pairing. Whether you try it watered down or not, which we could essentially do even now, lightly for the sake of a wow, I did not wash you properly. Back to the wash you go. Yep, I did wash you properly. Good. All right, so I might, now that's had a bit of airtime. Cool. Let's do that much, and I'll leave you untouched to enjoy later. Because after all, I really should have just done a 15ml pour for myself. But anyway, knowing that that was going to be the case, there's about 7 good healthy drops in that. And you know what? If I did add too many drops of water, I can always add some of that back into here anyway. So it's good to half out the glass. And all right, so comparing now between the two. Oh yeah, opens right up now. I mean, that's just look at that ABV. Yeah, absolute beast. And I'd happily drink that dram comfortably as is at that strength. It's just lovely to enjoy on its own at that particular strength. For the sake of a Boilermaker, though, don't be shy to add water to it, because that's really just lightened up the nose a bit, made it a lot more. There's like a real light hint of orange peel citrus that I get on the nose with that. And then also get a savoury note, funnily enough. Depending where I go on the nose with this thing. But yeah, if I didn't know any better, I'd say there was almost like an Imperial Stout note to it that I get on the nose with this. Like it's had a bit of time. Actually, do get a lot of sultanas out of this now that I've added some water to it. Yeah, sultanas or like or prunes, maybe dates. Definitely heaps of that. That maple's still there, but it's not as in your face as what it was before. I reckon this might work well with this now. So now either way that you want to go, this will probably work well at that ABV. Like it's still like looking how she goes in the glass, it's still, but like it hasn't lost its oiliness. Like it's just the legs aren't even moving on this thing. So like this is still going to coat your palate even with the amount of water that I add to this thing. Like I'll probably drop this down for like maybe I don't know 55 or something, or maybe even 57%. That's what, like, don't be shy to add water on this. So if you've got some on, like, you know, straight out the bottle, give yourself multiple pours, drop some water into each one at different, drop amounts, and see what ratio works well with what would pair back with this particular stout, or with any stout that you want to give a maple syrup kind of hit to your Boilermaker. So, but now that I've got this, I'll be curious to see how that goes now with the beer. So we'll do a beer wash first, go back to the whiskey rinse with the water that's been added to this one, and we'll see what the difference is. And for those that wonder why I have a serviette or a napkin or a tissue on hand, because I don't want to go waxing up my mo and then drinking beer and whiskey knowing that I've got wax in here, because it is going to, one, alter whatever notes I'm getting, because I will smell the wax coming through over these. The products that I do use are potent on the nose in a nice way, like they're very strong. So yeah, I don't want wax in my beer, that's for sure. So that's the reason why I rather just wipe the evidence off afterwards. All right, now that I've got that on the palate, let's try the watered down version. What a beast. What a beast. Yeah, definitely. That's turned into sticky date pudding. Oh, yum, 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 yum. I'm enjoying this finish. That is a remarkable whiskey. I swear that is a remarkable whiskey. 3 years and 10 months this thing's spent in that barrel. And oh, there's that maple syrup coming around. Oh, man. What a fun whiskey that is. I have to track me down another bottle. That is some fun stuff. Seriously fun stuff. And I pumped the water into that. I could probably even put some more water into it and it's not going to do any harm. That's just a, that is a little, that's a sweet little animal. And the finish is still going. The finish is still going. It's very maple syrup driven finish. So if you like your sweet finishes, and it's still got that bourbon, like the strong vanilla, coconuts, toffee, or caramel. All those notes are there that you'll get from your typical bourbon cask. But just if you really appreciated your Hobart Whiskey's release that they done the rum maple, even their bourbon and maple release, if you're a fan of that, then you will love the Corowa's Cask 31, which is their bourbon maple syrup release. This is just a decadent whiskey. It is just nice and sweet and just coats the palate so well, and really gets me in the mood for pancakes. Yep, I feel like pancakes now. It's dinner time, but I do want pancakes. So, see, now if COVID was a bit more friendly for us, is Pancake Parlor in Doncaster, which is 24 hours, I'd be heading straight there now. But, thank you, Uncle Dan. Anyway, we won't get into that. Okay. I'll do a, with a watered down version, let's do a whiskey wash, and then we'll finish off with the beer rinse and see what that does. But I'm tipping that this is probably going to be the way to go with the watered down version. But feel free to break it down over multiple drams, like just pour 15 ml in each or 30 ml in each if you're going to enjoy each particular one, and monitor your drops and just average out each drop to the size of the pour that you want to give yourself. Once you've found that sweet spot ratio, then pour according. All right, so last whiskey rinse and then last beer wash, and then we'll wrap it up. Unbelievable. What a fun whiskey that is. Good job, Corowa. Good job. That is... If the boys at Whiskey Travelers are watching this episode, you need to make sure this event still happens. That's all I beg of you. Make sure this event still happens. For those, if you're watching from Corowa, we need to make this event happen once the borders can open. We need this one night in Corowa to just share this lovely experience. If you've got any of those bottles left, wow. If you don't, that's fine. Track down a bottle and I'll bring it up with me if I have to, and share this Boilermaker package with you. All right, beer rinse. Let's see how this goes now. Oh yes, that's a winner right there. That's a winner right there. So enjoyable. So enjoyable. I reckon has a lot more of a balance in just the combination of flavors together. It pairs up beautifully. It's so so many compliments that are happening in that particular pairing with the watered down version. Not to say that I didn't enjoy the full ABV version. I'd personally rather not to say waste it, but I'd rather enjoy that kind of strength on its own and not in a Boilermaker. So otherwise, you could probably almost put that back with a barley wine at that kind of ABV, a real solid barley wine. Um, yeah, that'll probably work out well because the toffee and molasses that you get from that barley wine, that'll probably go well with that particular whiskey at that ABV. So either one, it's a fun Boilermaker, that's for sure. I rate that one pretty damn high. So I'm glad I've done that pairing because that one that worked out well. That far exceeded my expectations. So well, look, thank you for tuning in tonight as well and seeing the fruition of this particular pairing. And I will be back again next week with some more fun pairings. Please do the honors that you have been doing so far. Like, share, subscribe, and support. And I do thank you all for those that have been tuning in, generally watching this instead of just doing the whole like button on the socials for the sake of making me feel awesome. I know there are a few that they've got a lot of people on their friends list. They have a lot of people sharing content, and I know they do the polite thing and just click, yep, love your shit, dude, keep it up, well done, good stuff, good to see you on screen again. But there are those that do generally watch it as well and generally ask questions, and that's the stuff that I love. And that's the stuff that I do look for as well, because I know that you'll be keen on giving me feedback or just throwing some questions at me or maybe suggesting some pairings for me to try. I'm loving the fact that people are messaging me with their own Boilermaker pairings and comparisons, and and I love that. So I'm probably going to start bringing people on the show that have been following me and have been generally, trying stuff and are just curious about Boilermakers themselves and that are in the middle of the journey and want to compare a particular Boilermaker with me that they've sussed out themselves and want me to try and give my review on. So yeah, keep an eye for that. And one more thing to keep an eye out on: those that are, for those that were at a particular Highwayman whiskey tasting as of recent times, I made a sneaky announcement at the end of that particular tasting that providing I can get my hands on the next two bottlings, I don't mean that I have a complete set of batch 1 through to batch 10, which I was one of the lucky few that managed to get my hands of each of the bottlings to date so far. So I've gotten 1 to 8. So providing I can get my hands on 9 and 10, I will be doing a online giveaway competition. And that is of a 50ml sample of each of those bottlings. And it'll be the first pour straight into sample bottle, sealed, ready to deliver. And I'll even come up with some funky packaging for it, whether I make it a little fancy Highwayman wooden box or whatever. But I'll make a pretty cool presentation for it, and we'll be offering it as a prize. So keep an eye out on the competition details. Once again, Instagram, Whiskey and Sound, Facebook, Bearded Whiskey Drinker, and Whiskey and Sound on YouTube. So keep an eye on any of those 3 platforms and stay in the loop. Thank you once again for your continued support, and I look forward to seeing you guys and girls on the next episode of Boilermaker Mondays next week. Have a good one.